My name is Santis, and I think I will say that I'm a sound enthusiast.
Yeah, all I know is this present moment, yeah. All I do is feel the flow, I'm like, yeah. I'm high as ever, ooh, yes I breathe.
Welcome back to the Unpleasant Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host Shampoo, aka Big Shampoo.
And it's your boy Sly the Guy, no lie.
And we got another special guest with us today.
Yay!
Let them know your name, where they can find you, and what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Santis. You can find me on all socials at Feel Good Fire, and I think I will say that I'm a sound enthusiast.
Okay.
I'm a sound enthusiast.
That's
Sound enthusiast. What would you do? Break that down as?
So before I was like, okay, I'm a flow bender, because I feel like it was similar to like freestyling, but for me, freestyling feels like it has like a specific type of vibe, or people expect a specific type of vibe. But I feel like when I freestyle, it's more like flow bending, because it's not necessarily that I'll rap. It might be like singing, it might be like humming, it would depends on like the beat and like where it takes me. So then like over the weekend I was like contemplating, I was like, oh okay, what would be like a different name? And it would be like, oh, okay, I love sound and how sound relates to like our body and our experience and our mind and our reality and like what states it puts us in. But then I'm like, okay, well, what is my role in sound? So I'm like, maybe I'm a flow waver
I got you.
instead of a flow bender, like flow and like I wave. But yeah, I'm still figuring it out.
I got you.
So I'm like sound enthusiast.
It's like kind of seeing, kind of surfing. You know, you hit that wave that way, you hit the wave that way. You can't all hit the wave the same angle. You gonna go under. You know, it might get drowned out.
Yes, and then it's also like, so I say sound or a flow waver because I'm really interested in how like vibration and like how we're interacting with vibration, how we're in these different states of vibration, how this like creates our experience. And I notice like sound plays a part in that, and I'm just so curious if sound can just solve a lot of our problems.
When did you first get into sound? Like when did sound first interest you?
Sound as someone to consume it forever. I think because I grew up with my mom and she's from Chile, so there's always been like, we're living in these two different worlds.
So what is that on the map? You said Chile?
Chile, yeah, it's in South America.
Okay.
It's right next to Argentina under okay, so this is South America. It's like on the left-hand side on the coast. And then Argentina's like over here, and then I think Peru's above it.
Okay.
It looks like a chili pepper.
That's the one that's spelled Chile?
Yeah.
Okay, I just call it chili.
Yeah, chili. Yeah, a lot of the food isn't spicy. Someone asked me that yesterday. I was like, actually, that's a great question. But yeah, so like she grew up in this different culture, and I'm in this different culture, and so like sound just has always been a part of it, like the way words spell, but also like she just loves music and would listen to music in Spanish and English from like 60s and 70s, and then there's like 30s and 40s and these different languages. So I'm like noticing that we are attracted to these vibrations even though if I don't even know what those words mean, or vice versa, like maybe she doesn't know what these words mean in English and what it's actually saying. So I've always been like curious of that. And then also like, you know, different accents. I'm like, oh, why does that accent sound like that? I don't know, like do you guys have like your favorite accents where you're like, oh, you know?
I go around playing with other accents.
Yeah, right?
I be pretend to be British sometimes. Or Australian, you know?
Yeah.
I copied Steve Irwin a lot when I was younger.
Oh, like, who's Steve Irwin?
The crocodile hunter that passed away.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, crikey.
Crikey, this is a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your mom got any like musical background at all? Any family members got any musical background?
I think people have played like the guitar in my family. and have been like poets and stuff. I don't think it's been like anything like professional, but once I put an instrumental on in the car with my mom and we were just flowing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, did we just go through the whole song without like breaking the rhythm, and it all made sense. And so it's cool when like you have those experiences with people. It's like, oh, actually like life is a giant freestyle. You're just like tuning into these different like channels of creation, just with a beat. So yeah.
That's pretty dope. So like you said, freestyling with your mom was just flow
Yes.
flowing. That's different too.
Oh my gosh, and I was so...
You're like, hold on, you my parent, you my mom, like...
It wasn't even like that. I was actually really open that she was open to it.
Okay.
Because sometimes like people are like, oh, I can't do that because like I don't identify as that, which I guess that makes sense. But I'm like, sometimes you're just here to have fun, you know?
That's for sure.
So it's interesting.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Maryland, so I grew up in different cities. I used to live in Greenbelt, Laurel, Waldorf, after Waldorf, Silver Spring, and then like different parts of Montgomery County. So now I still live in Montgomery County. So like, yeah, you get different perspectives of like, oh yeah, you can't even judge Maryland in one box, you know?
I've been in Maryland, I've seen palm trees before.
Where'd you see palm trees?
I do not remember, but I've seen some palm trees in Maryland.
In the ground.
Yes.
I feel like, were you near the water? Did they want to give you like a palm tree type of vibe?
It was kind of like close towards the water. Yeah, so I've seen them before. I'm like, there's palm trees out here. But I looked it up. It can't be palm trees out here.
I thought you were tripping. You looked it up, you didn't believe your eyes.
Same found out it's California, Maryland. It's in California, Maryland. So I was like, okay.
No.
So it's a lot of shit. Maryland, they're big, but it's literally that big when you live in them. Like, you can drive 3 to 4 hours in Maryland. Like,
Yeah.
Literally.
And you have a different experience.
So which area you think kind of influenced your sound the most, or is it just a mixture of it all?
Oh, all of them. 100%. Because I remember when I used to live in Waldorf, they would have this place called My Brother's Place. And they would have screamo concerts and go-go concerts. And at that time, it felt like, okay, this is like my local like influence. At a time where like streaming wasn't like so like now you can listen to like any sound, it feels like, where like all you have is radio and then whatever you find on YouTube and online. So being exposed to that, I was just like, whoa, these are so different worlds.
Yeah.
Playing in the same place. Screamo was, I think, more, I was like a little bit more hesitant to like get used to. I feel like I didn't get it.
What is that like, technically like?
It's like, I love
just screaming.
you. I don't want to undermine it.
Yeah, I know.
but
That's how I
what
can put it as like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not downgrading it, but like I can put it as like some people say go just a lot of boom boom boom, a lot of rhythms and the instruments, but
Simplifying it.
Yeah, simplifying
just
it.
But there's people that have experimented with screamo and made it like jazz hop. So it's like a hip hop jazz, and then I don't have one on my mind to share, but that exists where they like combine the screamo, so you kind of have these different elements. But yeah, it's cool. Go-go I think was more to me like cumbia, which is like a lot of like drum and bass and very much like, okay, I get it. But I didn't know like people would remix songs.
yeah, start with a couple of words, and after that you got a breakdown here and then the song come back. What would you say is your first experience with music?
As a listener or as a creator?
Just a listener, creator, whatever you want. Like your first real experience, like this is catching my ear. This was something that makes me want to do it.
I used to work at a cannabis dispensary, and I met someone there, shout out to Manny, where he told me that he produced music and he was just sharing like how music is in his life as a creator. And at that moment I was like, oh, I didn't realize like I could actually be creating music as an adult. Like I think I listened to those like limiting beliefs as a kid where like you can't make music or
Yeah, at a
like,
certain age, so.
Yeah, like, or it's like 1 in a million, or like you can't be supported by making music. So very much like going into like a negative, like not possible. And I don't think I was completely conscious of me closing that door that had always been there as like a curiosity of like, oh, I actually like this. So that created the ripple effect where I would like just continue to do like freestyles as expressing emotion in my car. And then creating that ripple effect of like, oh, actually I believe in myself, and let me put a project out, and let me be okay with not knowing what the next step is, but I'll figure it out, and then asking questions, and then you start to just be more comfortable in your own process, and you're like, oh, actually I was never lost, I was just on the path, and then like it just all started to make sense.
Yeah, put your foot forward and take one after another.
I was gonna ask about your process. When making a song, do you just like listen to beats until something finds you, or do you have like sounds in your head and look for a beat to match it? Because you know sometimes you don't need music playing to get the humming and
For sure.
singing and whatnot.
Yeah.
For sure. Never have I thought of a sound in my head and thought like, okay, maybe I'll get in that space as I explore my MIDI. For right now, the majority of my process is I'll be on like YouTube, and I'll just like explore different producers and like their beats, and realize there's like a type beat industry, which is so cool because that's how I like go down the rabbit hole where I'm like, yes, I found you guys. This is the type of sound. Even though you can put a sound in a group, but it is helpful to like find people and like their art and how they're sharing it. So I just like listen to that like on my laptop. I'll have like my phone for video, and then I'll just like record and then just see where it flows, and then later I'll listen to it, and if I like it, I'm like, whoa, this should be recorded like in a recording studio. But I have experimented where I've listened to beats and I'll like intentionally write it out, where I'm like, okay, this is a verse, this is a chorus, and see how that flows. So yeah, it's just kind of experimenting.
So you get like a template, like a beginning, a middle, and end?
Yeah, because some producers, which maybe you guys have seen this with like that or podcasting, where they'll like divide it into chapters on YouTube. So they'll do that. Some producers will write like, okay, this is the intro, this is the verse, which is helpful for someone who doesn't, like, I don't know music theory, as like to write it down on paper.
Yeah, you got to like, at the time of like intro, chorus, verse, hook. Yeah,
Exactly.
At the bottom while you time play, the timestamp technically.
Yes, but if you play it, I feel like my body will just know when something is about to change the wave. Like I can't even actually explain like how it is, but when I look back at stuff, I was like, that was actually really great timing. I wasn't aware that, we were on that time type of thing. So yeah, it's just kind of like playing around, seeing what works. I think just making stuff that like I like.
As a sound enthusiast, right? Do you remember your first song you wrote? Because you say you go to freestyle. Have you wrote like your first song? Do you remember it? Like, when were you at and how it made you feel?
Yeah.
You're like, I got this accomplished. I wrote this. I did this.
Yes, not necessarily like that, but kind of like that. Like, before I like, and when we're talking about recorded, we're talking about like out on streaming platforms, right?
No, you could just put it down in the house and it never got released. You just wrote it down. Your first pen to paper action.
Oh, okay. First pen to paper action. I think I was like in middle school, and I wrote something about. I feel like maybe it was pop related, and maybe it was about love, something like that.
Yeah, somebody say they wrote a song about their dog. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
It starts somewhere when you write a song. You gotta have inspiration, a spark.
Yeah, for sure. That one I don't think was as meaningful as the one when I got, I don't know if you've seen, they're like these like portable microphones that you can take, portable recording studios that you can take. So I was like, oh yes, I'll get this. And I did the same thing, and it was just a freestyle of my grandparents. And I was just like, okay, I really gotta put this song out because I just felt like I owed it to my grandparents, but it felt like more like I was just observing myself at an old age and seeing like, okay, what would I regret in my life? And it would be if I don't try music or sound.
So, do you have any like musical influences or somebody that you feel like your sound is similar to?
I think all of them. I think because I feel like music is like our diary. So when you meet different people, you get like different like vibes that they're interested in. So I think of like my grandmother, she's like I think 95 now, and so what her prime time was like 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. So when I think of her influence from her motherland of like Chile, and then her talking about what was exported from the States to Chile, like the popular, like the Elvis, all that. And then I think of my mom, where she grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, where, okay, now she has like the Spanish and like all these different genres, and then also like what was popular in the States. And then my older brother, he is 13 years older than me, so he grew up like late 90s, early 2000s. So you get like that type of vibe. So it's kind of like a timeline.
You got different eras you can tap into.
And then growing up in Waldorf, you get like these different tastes of music and sounds. So it's cool.
Like, who inspires you to do the music? Or what inspires you to do it?
I think definitely selfishly for myself. I think like I'm curious of what I can do with sound and with music. I think what we were talking about earlier is like, okay, how can sound solve people's problems? Or how can sound create solutions or states? And I think when I've recorded myself and then look back, I'm like, whoa, we were feeling some type of way about something. You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on in our consciousness? You know, just as like an observer of myself in my life and how I process information and emotions. And so that made me see myself really and see like, okay, well, what type of vibe do I want to create as a consumer of my own thoughts and perception of reality, and then maybe other people want to be in that state as well.
Gotcha.
I say, regardless of what other people, do you have like a specific type of beat that you like to go to? You say when you're looking on YouTube, is there like somebody you type in like such and such type?
Not necessarily. It depends on like the vibe. I like to explore different ones. I do have like producers where I guess I have listened to them more, so they're showing up more in the algorithm. But other than that, it's mainly the vibe. Like I'll just click on it. Something that's refreshing is just really awesome. But I guess to name it, it would be like drill jazz type beats. What is it, Tampa and Paula type beats. Sometimes boom baps type beat. Yeah. Or like drums, flutes types beats. So it's just kind of depending on the state. Sometimes you want to go super fast, sometimes you want to go super slow, sometimes you're like, whoa, I'm in the cosmos.
Yeah, you're like,
you know?
How am I feeling today? Then you go for that, like.
It's not even today, it might be like, I'll just go through drill jazz type beat, and then I'm like, alright, switched up. Next one.
Oh, gosh.
Or you're like, I want to feel like I'm on the mountain with a guitar, you know, let's put some like indie folk, you know? I'm like, life's gonna be okay.
Okay. Get that vibe going.
Yeah.
You do shows a lot?
What is a lot?
I mean, I don't know. More than one is a lot to be.
I guess then, yeah, I have done it more than once this year. So yeah, I guess I have done shows. So right now I have this thing where it's called Sound Soul Paint. And I used to be a face painter, and I was also like, you know, in this world of making music and learning about like wellness and how can we be all healthy and optimal, you know what I mean? Like, why do we have like these repeated illnesses and things, but I can like FaceTime my uncle in Japan easily. So I'm just like curious of that. But as I was face painting people, like kids, adults, they would all tell me that they feel so relaxed. And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but cool, I guess that makes sense. And so then I started creating these experiences where people would come and paint their arms while they're listening to like live music. And then the live music would be these different types of beats, but there would be like affirmations of like whatever, like I'm healthy and wealthy, I'm prosperous, or like I feel like my cells are optimal health. So experimenting with like how do they feel listening while they're painting their arms, and so then I'll do like surveys and stuff. So
That's
I do
pretty
more of
dope.
those. Yeah.
It's like hearing music and then letting it speak to you while you're on your arms. The song change, you might do a little something different, and you got like a collage on your arm by the end of the session or whatever.
Yeah.
So are you an artist too as well? Like, cause you
I guess so. Yeah.
yeah, face painting. That's in depth. It's like characteristic or like really like realistic painting. You know, some people do the animated version of it, or like they do the real portrait. Like this is look just like me.
No, I don't do like a picture of you on you. No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it's just like animals, anime, superheroes.
Okay.
My nephews are like, I want a Spider-Man. I'm like, I got you. Yeah.
So you can make them like a Spider-Man as themselves?
Well, like a Spider-Man mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you collaborate with others with the music?
For music, yeah. I've been open to that this year because I have been learning like, okay, well, how do I flow this boat of being a creator in sound and music? Because it's not, it feels straightforward, but it also feels like you're figuring a lot of everything out along the way. And then you're also like, well, how can I pay my bills while I do this as well, you know?
So they call it starving artist or some real shit.
I don't want to starve, you know what I mean? So I'm like, the universe will support me.
Yeah.
And so I've been open to that. I think, I don't know, I guess it depends on like the vibe between the person. I feel like aside from like, okay, the royalties and how it's going to be put out, but it's like, how are we creating together? What's the process?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, do you have any people that you're looking to collaborate with? Like, when you say don't put yourself in a box, they don't have to be local. Just
Yeah. So I have a goal this year that I want to record 100 songs. I feel like that was so crazy.
how far into it are you?
2.
Okay.
So technically 98.
You got a way to go.
And I appreciate you rooting for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's 100 songs.
I was like, and we're about to be in June. We still got time.
You could knock out probably 10 songs in a week if you wanted to.
It's more, I think, of leasing the
I
beat
got you.
than actually the coming up with the songs. Because the coming up with the songs, I feel like that's the easy part. I already like in the car over here, I'm just flowing. It's more of like the leasing and then the intentionality of like, okay, record this. This is when it's released. That, but I think it would be cool. I thought of it to record a song with everyone that I know.
Okay.
Cause then I was like, that would be so cool. Like when my mom, right? Or like make a song with like my sister or like my friend in it. Like I feel like I'm open to that idea. I don't know if it's gonna be a part of this 100 songs, 98 songs type of vibe.
Could help.
But honestly, I'm open to, if I feel like I like your vibe, why not? Let's come together and create a child. It's like,
You know, I'll come out of retirement for a track.
yeah, for
Come out of
sure.
retirement.
Also, it's so easy to create, you know what I mean? And if you enjoy each other's creation process, it's like, I don't know, everyone's different, so I guess it depends on what people want when they collaborate.
Like, what do you say is like your biggest thing about performing? What do you love about it?
Ooh. What do I love about it? Interesting. Oh, okay. I think I had to like take myself there. I was like, alright. I think it's the exchange of energy. The way you feel, like you just feel the space and everyone in the space.
350. So like the space, like the energy, has it ever been like a time where you felt like the energy could be off and it might mess your performance up, or you do perform the same no matter what? Like, no matter what.
Oh, I mean,
Like for one person versus 100 person, you get the same performance no matter what. Do you feel like,
Like if someone does something in the audience, you mean?
no, just like if you got one person in the crowd,
Yeah.
you get the same performance that you give versus 100.
Oh. I
He's like, it's
see.
just me. The man it might just be really intimate because there's less people in the crowd, but 100 you gotta go, you know, and look around. You, that side.
Yeah.
Can't forget about you in the back. Hey.
I see you, Pikachu.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think so. Two things. Once, I think when I first like ever freestyled live at an open mic in Virginia, I think I like blacked out. Like presently there type of blacked out because I was like I think it wasn't making sense, and it was just an overload of my own energy to myself. It had like nothing to do with them, but it was like. Oh my gosh, I'm now sharing my soul with everybody here in this space.
Oh my god, my anxiety kicking in. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm like, childhood trauma. Let me just talk about that. So that was funny. I think now you were like, okay, how is it different or same with like one person and 100 people? I think it's the same because I feel more anchored in my own body and in my own energy where I feel comfortable just being me and flowing that. And I think whether it's at Porch Fest or like at a place like The Pocket in DC, I think you'll still feel that energy exchange no matter like how many people are in the audience. Also, if I like what I'm flowing, you know what I mean? I'm just flowing it. So hopefully I like it as well, you know? And then if you receive it, you receive it, and if you don't, that's cool.
I got my own energy boss, came back to my energy up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If it resonates, either you want these colors or you don't. It's cool.
So you say you did two out of 100. Are those two released?
No.
No.
They're not.
Do you have a plan on releasing them?
That's a great question. I have Asana. It's like are you guys familiar with Asana? It feels like an Asana commercial now. Do you know Asana? Say that.
Like sauna, like
Yeah, when you say
straight steam, like steam bath.
No. It's spelled ASANA.
Asana.
And it's a project.
Oh, it's not
management tool.
Asana. It's literally one word.
One word.
Yeah, it's one word. Yeah. But it's close. Yeah. And it's supposed to help like track projects because I think sometimes I can be like all over the place. Where I think for a goal that's so large, like I gotta have a workflow where I can just repeat it. But it's also like balancing, like I like the spontaneity of like, oh, actually I was just driving and this would be a great spot to just film a couple of clips for a music video as I'm gonna like edit them. So it's kind of like balancing like how much should I have planned and to invite the openness for creativity and spontaneity. So I'm learning that as well.
Okay, yes. I was gonna stay on the same.
Yeah,
topic
me too. I got one too.
I was gonna say like
And share
100.
your experience in this because I'm learning.
100 like would be like a one project or like across multiple.
Well, what
But
do you
just some release just loosely. Like,
what do you consider one project?
100 songs on one. Like if I click on it,
The Chris Brown joint.
73
songs.
1 through 100.
Oh, he put 73 songs.
Man,
Nah, he had like 40, at least 40. Then he did like a deluxe version.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he
It's
has.
like all I got is time and creativity.
Let me look up which one.
I think he had like 70 songs.
Heartbreak.
Man.
On one album.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
No, it wouldn't be like
it's
that.
not really usual, but it's not something that hasn't been done. So
Yeah, I think I did that because I wanted to level up how much I really want to do this full time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if I create this like audacious goal that seems like impossible, then I'll have to, now my mind will have to rewire and create solutions or perspectives for me to now like create it. Versus like I'm just someone who's randomly putting things out at random times.
It's like,
You have a question? I
no,
saw.
I just looked it up. There's
Yeah.
45 songs, and on the deluxe is 57.
okay, I knew it
This
was.
is an extra 57, or is it?
No, the deluxe adds I think 12 more.
Yeah.
12
Okay.
more songs. So.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that.
That's
I'm not
good.
opposed to it.
That's
I just think.
It'll take a while to get through.
That's a road trip. A long ass road trip song.
Okay, so you guys, I imagine you guys are in the creative space, right? I
Mhm.
feel like we met in a creative space, or through a creative event. When you guys get sent songs, by local artists, do you listen to their whole album? Do you listen to their single? Like, how do you go about? Because we're living in a time where you can literally make a song every single day if you wanted to do that, and you know you have the structure to do that. So it's like the increase of output in this time has definitely increased, just like information and stuff.
Overload.
Yeah. So how do you consume music from other artists, whether that's your favorite?
It's a great
or
question,
local?
interviewer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
That's good.
I thought you passed me the microphone.
Nah,
I was
it's
like,
good.
okay.
It's good. Never,
I say from my perspective,
Yeah,
I usually got like a 15-second rule. Like how late.
from the beginning.
Yeah, 15
Okay.
seconds. If I don't, it's not that I might don't like the song
Yeah.
50 seconds, but if it don't, you know what I'm saying, if it don't capture the way I'm feeling right now, within that
Mm.
15 seconds, I might
Okay.
just go to the next song.
So you do that for each song, like they sent you like an
Yeah.
album.
And
Okay.
so, like, even with other artists, mainly stream artists, I go, then I might skip it, and probably like a month or something later, that might be a bigger song that I skipped. I'm like, oh shit, I did skip this song. Didn't give it a chance, or I wasn't feeling reciprocal because of the energy that was coming right there. Sometimes the beat takes 15 seconds, but I don't got time for a 15-second build up.
I get it, it's drums. It's
Yeah.
like,
short attention span. Well, I look somebody up on YouTube.
okay,
I tend to like visuals too.
okay.
So, I mean, I look at some visuals and just see, like, it kind of enhance some of the songs for me.
Okay.
I think probably because I just be into other stuff. Like I like videos, so that.
Okay.
But if it's just strictly audio,
Oh, filmmaker lens.
yeah.
Got you.
If it's just strictly audio, I mean, I listen to probably I don't know how long into it. I wouldn't say 15 seconds. I might give them a little more chance. I might see
17.
how.
It's like,
No, I might see how what they're doing, like how if they start off with the verse. Some people start off with the hook. If the hook is catchy, it might keep me around even though I don't like the verse.
Okay.
And if you start off with a verse and the verse is nice, I'll listen to it. But I tend to just give it a try, and then if I don't like it, I go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not just
Yeah,
gonna
I'm-
cancel the whole artist. I go to the next song.
I try to find one that I like, and that'll motivate me to give the other ones another chance. So
Got you.
if I didn't like them initially, I just, you know, sometimes it don't catch you off the first time. You know, sometimes songs have to grow on you.
That's true.
So you gotta be in that type of space. Like if you're not in that space, you're like, I don't even want to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, and then once we start doing like the Unpleasant Sessions performance, it's like I do the editing of the video, so I kind of gotta keep hearing the song over and over. So then I was like, you know what?
I love it.
I actually do like this.
Yeah.
But like when I first heard it, it was okay. But then like I just literally probably had to hear the song over 100 times, like doing the editing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It's a pretty good song.
Going back to the visual, I watched one of your videos with the mountain and the field. Like,
Oh,
yes.
that Washington State.
That was Washington State? That's what you filmed it?
I was wearing something pink. I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
can-
kind of like trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the hell you come up with that kind of visual? Like, it's a big ass mountain in the back.
That okay. So, not related to it. I was visiting a friend in Seattle, and we were planning on going on a hike. And I think we stopped in that town. We got breakfast burritos. Yes. And I think I told her, let's stop, like at that park, and just like do like one, like just one flow of like the song, which is like 3 minutes. Shout out to Rachel. And so she filmed me there, and then the rest of the visuals are like driving to the hike, and then like in the hike, and like now I'm just zooted, you know, because now I'm in Washington State, so I'm like, let me explore your edibles.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, whoa, we're all creative energy. And so yeah, it was cool. I think I'm very attracted to like abstract videos where like, does it have to make sense? You know what I mean? Type of things, like, cause short attention span, I just like it when, you know, when you're like
Something's
looking-
happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. but something's
Change the
happening.
scenery.
Yeah, I'm I'm like actually zoning out now. I'm like in my thoughts. I need to know, bring me back.
So your visuals are similar to your musical style. Like sometimes you may not plan the video. You might just be somewhere and I want to shoot here.
Dang.
And it just flows like that. I think that fits with your style though.
I think that is very accurate. And then also because now, so my sister filmed another one, but she has like her 4th kid now, so now I'm like, I don't even think I can ask you to come like remove yourself from your...
You're already busy, you're already busy.
Yeah, from your
Bring the
dependence.
kids out there. Kids,
Oh, of course they come.
kids love cameras.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like, alright, let's bring activity. Everybody focus on the vision. We're here to
Put the
record
kids
pizza.
in the video.
That's true. I like that. I guess I was thinking like, okay, to be more expansive of like, alright, let me pick up the camera and experiment with what I can do just with my arm. And
Give
then
a POV feeling.
yeah, give a POV feeling, maybe do like a side, like I'll take the metro, so I'm like, oh, maybe if I do like a side angle, like as things are moving outside, I think that's cool, or like when you see the sun, but you're also moving too, so it's like 2 things moving, and then seeing how that plays when the beat changes, so then it like all coordinates. So yeah, I've just...
Do you think like being an artist, as far as like painting and stuff like that, do you think that helps with your visual, with your music as well? Because your mind could probably, I know I can't draw shit, I can barely draw stick figures, right? But I could think of something,
Yeah.
but can't put it to paper. Do you think that helps, that your mind can actually do that for you? Like, you could think of it and actually put it down, put a scene behind it, draw how you want it to look, just as visually wise?
Okay, so to answer your question, I think we're all artists. I think we're all the source of creative energy. And when I say creative, I don't mean like just painting or drawing, but that like, I don't know what it is, let's call it our avatar powers, that flows through all of us, that we can legit have an idea, and then like my idea could be like, I want to go to Chipotle, and then I take my body to Chipotle. Like that's me creating that experience. And so I think we're all artists. Could be a perspective where like whether the way we talk or how we dress or like how we see things or the way we do weird things of whatever that is cool, because like that's how you flow. I think like any art can be learned or like you figure it out. I think sometimes like our society has like told us like, oh, that's wrong, you can't do that and things like that. So then we start to judge ourselves and we're like, oh my gosh, is this even good? Can I even put it out there in the world? Oh no, I suck.
Yeah, it's like,
But somebody,
be in the box.
somebody,
Be in the box.
Yeah.
there's something for everybody though, just cause you put it out and there's one person don't like it, somebody somewhere find it and like it.
And that's something so cool that I feel like the internet has taught us, is that there are infinite perspectives. And as long as you're okay with what your belief system is of whatever, and however in all areas of your life or whatever, it's like we're all here to like learn and share like our lens on different things. And I don't have the answers. You know what I mean? I'm just figuring it out. So I just like came here on planet Earth and I'm just like, all right, this is my body.
Wasn't my
this is-
choice. Wasn't my choice.
You know what I mean? I was just like floating, you know? I just landed and I'm just here. So I'm like, all right, how can I have as much fun and create my life here? And it's cool because then I realized, wow, I actually believed a lot of things I don't feel like are true. One of them being like a starving artist, which I believe was true. So knowing that like there's other perspectives that can help amplify my own frequency, and then that plays into our imagination, which is why I was saying that we all have creative energy. Because we use imagination in how we solve problems as well.
Say, what do you say, Seattle, Washington? Do you travel a lot?
I mean, yes and no. I'm not like on a plane every weekend, so I would say no.
You at least a plane once a month?
not once a month. I would say like maybe once a year.
Okay.
Once a year somewhere.
I've been on a plane once out of 30 something years. It's cool.
That's traveling a lot,
once,
you know?
Once, so when you do travel...
Actually, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I would say yes, but not necessarily like plane wise. I like to go to different like here, right? I would like Google like, okay, coffee shop Glenarden, and I like to explore people like different cities' coffee shops or like what they have in the city. And by city I don't mean like an actual like DC, but like in that area, and see like, oh, okay, this is the type of vibe, these are the type of stores they have. Like I feel like that's the experience of traveling, because you get to see different perspectives.
I've done that
Type
too.
of thing.
I'm like, dang, I still got one road.
Do you
Yeah.
take your sounds with you on the road?
I'm in YouTube.
Like,
on my
like
phone.
okay, so you know, like sometimes you might just be somewhere. Like I know a lot of coffee shops sometimes they have people perform.
Yeah.
So you might just, I feel you might just be out.
I'm
Hey.
ready, yeah,
Open mic night?
for sure.
Sign me up.
I'm definitely in that state. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna purchase those microphone speaker sets, and then I'm just gonna be going to like Union Market, and I'm just like, I'll be here for an hour. Let me just share this energy. Let me know what you think. Cause I'm also curious. Like, it's not even what I have to say, but it's like, how did you feel in that experience? Like that, to me, is gold. Cause I'm like,
Feedback.
yeah, it's feedback. It's like, do you feel lighter? Do you feel brighter? Do you feel like you can leave here and you're like, yo, that idea that I have, like, it's gonna happen. I don't know why I was even doubting myself. Like, that was just a waste of energy. Let me pivot and choose what experience it is that I prefer, and then just pour that life force that's flowing through me into the expected outcome, and then have fun along the way.
Did you deal with self-doubt?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it flows in different areas of my life, you know, like music, or like in relationship, like when you're dating. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm an asshole. That's
I'm like,
happening.
why am I rejecting myself? You know what I mean? Why do I see myself this way? Because it has nothing to do with the other person. It's just a reflection of how I'm seeing it. Or self-doubt of like, oh, am I ever even going to be able to help my mom? Like, she's done so much for me. But then the more, I don't know what I would call it, I guess spiritual information that I find, or things that resonate with me on YouTube. I live on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I'm
You can
YouTube the best teacher.
YouTube is,
Yeah.
you know,
Shout out
you
to
can go to
YouTube. It's like-
YouTube instead of college.
Oh, 100%. I'm like, where did you learn this? YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I just keep consuming it, and the more I consume it, I'm like, okay, that made sense, that didn't. Oh, I see what they mean now. What was I gonna say to answer? Oh, it's really basically what state it is that you choose to prefer. What perspective do you choose to prefer? And do I prefer this feeling of self-doubt and feeling like I'm nothing and I'm worthless and nothing's ever gonna work out for me? Or do I feel like, oh, I'm here to bring value, I'm worthy, I'm creative, I celebrate life, I love myself, life loves me. And then to know that other people can also feel that way as well, and it doesn't take anything from anyone, you know?
I learned that a long time ago. Not really a long time ago, but like long enough for me. It was like, I'm not the same person I was yesterday. I probably won't be the same person I am today tomorrow. Like, but I'm still the person that's in this body. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I know that I always say, you know, I expect somebody else to believe in me. If I don't believe in myself, you know, I have to be my number one supporter before anybody else. Because if I don't believe, everybody else believe, but I'm still sitting there saying I can't do it, then I probably won't do it, regardless of all the exterior support.
do you play
Yes.
any music instruments?
I will answer that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, that is actually really helpful. I think the root definitely has to be internally of like the belief as it blossoms, as like the flower or whatever grows, as the human grows. But it's interesting because there have been different moments or experiences where outside feedback of belief has helped me to shift, like, oh, actually, like, I do want to believe in myself. Thank you for knowing that this belief is possible. I think it can be not great in the long term, because then you're only focused on if outside people believe in you, when really, like, no, you're the vessel of belief, and then other people join what it is that you're creating. But I think as like you're watering the seed, it's definitely helpful, because sometimes like you're like diving into a completely different like dimension. You know, like if you've gone through poverty and all you know is like poverty mindset, which definitely been there, in transitions, you know, and feeling prosperity and wealthy and knowing like, oh no, I can actually go to the dealership and buy a car and like drive off the lot and that can be a reality. And if someone says like, oh yeah, that's possible, that I see you in that vision, you know, that can help water that seed even bigger. And I'm like, you know what, thank you. Now I'll take it from here, you know?
I felt like when I first got a car, I was like, oh shit, I got my license. Never thought it was possible. Oh shit, I got a car. I started with one car. That was my sixth car now. So I thought it was hard to get one in my mind. I had 6 already. Like,
isn't it crazy how like we create those ceilings of what is like harder, what feels like so like impossible? Like I remember when like just like $300 felt like $1 million. Like just felt like, or even $20. Like when you were a kid, you have like nothing but coins.
I was rich.
Yeah, you're like $20. Like I'm inviting everybody out to eat tonight. You know what I mean?
until you go be like, oh, that shit 10.
Hey, what y'all want
That's
from the store?
Yeah.
Go to the store. You need anything?
As you go, you be like, who putting up? Because this shit about to disappear.
All I got is $20.
All I got
is $20.
Anybody want some juice? I got you.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Instruments, as a kid I played the violin and the flute.
Oh shit, that's some hard instruments.
I guess so. If you gave it to me now, I would definitely like wing it. I'm like, oh, okay. But now I have a MIDI, so I'll just like play, I'll just like connect the sounds that's already like in GarageBand, and then I'll just play it out. But I think I'm going about that the same way like with lyrics, which is just flowing and freestyling. There's something really cool. There's like a study that's been done that if you imagine yourself playing an instrument, like you imagine your fingers, let's say a violin, right? You're sitting down and you're just imagining yourself holding it and you're hearing the sounds and playing it, right? You've never even touched the instrument physically, right? But visually, like you see it as clear as I'm seeing you right now. When you play it, you have wired yourself so much that you just know how to play.
I felt like playing Guitar Hero.
Yeah, oh, I do that all. I'm so curious of how to play a guitar on fire that I'm like, when I hear a guitar, I'm like, okay, let me hear each string and see where I'm supposed to be. And then when I pick it up, I'll be like Jimi Hendrix.
I'm gonna get into my top 5, right?
Okay.
Top 5 musical artists you would love to work with, dead or alive.
Okay, I definitely will say Jimi Hendrix. Second one, Sticky Fingers.
Okay. Oh shit.
They're I guess you would call them like a psychedelic rock, indie rock type of band from Australia and New Zealand.
See, I thought you were the rapper.
The lead singer does flow.
Play Blade.
Yeah. Play Bleed.
Go. Third one, there's a Venezuelan artist called Horace. And he does hip hop and rap in Spanish. I really like the way he speaks and how he speaks. So 3. Other one, oh, I definitely want to do a go-go song. That's on my list. I don't have a specific band in mind, so I would be open to anyone in the DMV. Fifth one, it will come to me. The fifth one.
The silence is amazing.
I know. Look, you just find me in a corner and I'm just like, just making sounds. The fifth one, I'll see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the music that I've been consuming lately, which has been more like modular sync. So I think that's why, which is kind of like wah, like that type of sound. So no artist. I'll say like Mystery Person.
Okay.
Or Mystery Band.
Okay.
Leaving it out, yeah.
He says, whoever gonna fill the fifth slot out.
Yeah, it's open. You know, send your applications. Like,
Yes, I'm not fifth. I answer was us.
Yeah.
there you go, you guys. Album?
Album.
I'll say.
Alright, my next top 5, if you could perform anywhere, where would you perform? In the world.
In the world. I think it's somewhere in Turkey.
Okay. That's the
Where-
first.
Yeah, it's, I'm not sure if it's in Turkey, but it's like it's like in rocks. Like you're out in rocks and like the stage is like out on the rocks. But the way the sound travels, I think it would be cool.
Yeah, like a acoustic vibe, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Somewhere in nature. That's 2.
Okay, I got you. Somewhere, hey, this is a rave party right here in the middle.
Yeah. I'll do 3rd one. Let's do Red Rocks,
Alright,
which I think is in Colorado.
Clay.
Yeah, I think like amphitheater. I don't know, I'm really open to any place. Pivot your question, but still answer it. Okay, so the Sound Soul Pain experience that I was talking about, where people are like self-painting their arms, I've been thinking that's like a wellness experience for like workplaces. So I'm like, okay, this is a business that I want to like put out in the world for workplaces. But I also want to experiment one-on-one with people and see like, okay, but how did you feel? Do you feel like you're in this state, like just out of like an experiment of curiosity? Like, do you feel more healthy because you're more in this state? Do you feel more inspired? Whatever the outcome is. I'm saying that because I think it would be cool when I do like concerts to have the audience doing something while they're at the concert. I think like that would
Being
be
a part
cool.
of the show.
Yeah, but also it's like you're not just here to say the words. You're here to like go into your own vortex of whatever that
Feel
is.
the words. Be the words.
Yeah, you are the word. Be the vibrations. Maybe you're like vibing up. Maybe it's not even painting their arms. Maybe it's like community murals, like giant like plywood or paper, and you can just like vibe out type of thing. So I'm curious of like how the experience of the audience could be different than from concerts that I've gone to.
Gotcha.
And I think that would be more memorable. Cause I'm like, I've never been to a concert that you're doing something else.
Besides getting pulled on stage.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, this is cool. I remember I saw the Roots in DC at the memorial. Oh no, National Monument. And the way that they brought everyone together, I feel like we were all dancing like this, you know? So I think maybe it could be a mix of that and doing something else.
This is the last 2.
Oh, I thought that counted as like 3.
That's 3, right? So 5. 2 more.
Okay, so I would say all over the world. I feel like that counts as 1. I'm open. Maybe a beach.
A beach.
And a beach. And since we're going beach, maybe the other one could be jungle. Like maybe like a festival in the jungle. I think that'd be cool. Oh, actually, I would love to perform at, what is that festival? I think it's in Michigan. It's not Bonnaroo. Electric Forest. It's like all neon colors in the forest at night, and it's like a festival.
Don't come if you like South the Boom. He gonna sign this waiver.
Yeah, you will trip. So,
Yeah. So, trip. Do you trip?
do I trip? I've definitely taken psychedelics. I think there can be a positive place to take psychedelics. I've also like gone about of like wanting to start like an edibles company with my friends. So we were like, okay, how do we make healthy edibles that you can consume? So I think there's a space for that. I don't think you have to consume cannabis or psychedelics or things like that in order to get into that state. I
It
think,
helps.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it helps.
It helps.
But I don't think everything is for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I think like if it calls you, and then you get what your intention is behind it. I've cried during after taking like magic mushrooms, and I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
I just love
Mhm.
myself. You know what I mean?
I cried. I wasn't even sad. It's just my eyes were.
It was like tears of joy. It was like tears of like I took mushrooms and looked at myself in the mirror, and I guess people say don't do that.
No, you're not supposed
Yeah,
to.
you might look a little weird.
Oh,
Okay.
it was weird. I was in the bathroom and I was like, well, I'm already here, you know. I'm in front of the sink. What am I gonna not look at myself? I literally saw myself aging. No bullshit. Like I saw my like morphing, and I was like get like, and then sad, and then like laugh that I'm like watching.
I'm 65 years old.
And it's like a loop. I'm like
How long have I been in here?
30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah, but you're conscious that that's not actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so funny. It's just like your perception of what you're receiving, right? But it's cool because you're like, that actually could be what I look like. So you're like laughing and you're like,
Pretty
scary,
grandma.
sad. Yeah. I'm in the bathroom. Yeah. What has your experience the first time you took? Well, what was your first psychedelic that you took?
Mushrooms.
What was the first time?
I don't know. First time I caught myself staring at the moon for like 40 minutes.
That's
yeah.
Smoke. Making it bigger, making it swell and grab it.
First time it was a little therapeutic. It was therapeutic. I was going through some things, and it was kind of my first time actually talking about them and how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the bathroom myself, but I just felt like I had the shower running, but it was just like I was just getting stuff off my chest. And when I stepped out the bathroom, I felt like I had a whole bunch of weight off my shoulders, stepped into a new world. I was like, you know what? Drugs aren't bad.
I know those ones.
That's
Drugs
right.
aren't bad. I mean, if you use them responsibly.
Yeah.
I say words.
There's a concept that I've been thinking about, how to get high. And like when you hear that, you're like, okay, well, what are we talking about? Like are we talking about like sparking? You know what I mean? But I think there's something deeper when it talks about like psychedelics, of like, well, what does high even mean? Because like when I grew up, like high was like it's bad, like
Just a drug addict.
yeah, like the way my mom felt when she saw me like high for the first time, things like that. But then as I've gone through life, I'm realizing that like, oh, actually I think we're all trying to just be on a high vibe, on a high frequency, and a high
Out of this
state.
world, technically.
Yeah, like
That's my high. Out of this world.
Sometimes
Maybe
life will
bliss.
take you low. So
oh, the high.
no, life will take you low. So you do drugs to balance it out. Try to lift your spirit sometimes.
Yeah. I did hit some weed like, what the fuck I took off of?
Yeah, I was like, actually, that didn't really matter.
It didn't really matter. Yeah, if I say if it don't matter in 5 seconds, it won't matter in 5 years. For real. Like, if it didn't matter that much in 5 seconds, it won't matter in 5 years. If I can say you break it down like, was you really gonna be that mad in 5 seconds, 5 minutes? What was it gonna matter in 5 years?
Mm.
I don't hold grudges at all because of that.
Today I'm starting a fast, so I'm gonna be fasting today until Wednesday. But I can consume like liquids. Like this is my experiment. So like I can eat like smoothies, like coffee, water, but like no foods. And that's gonna be interesting because I'm like, all right, connect with my true self. I'm hungry, so
Yeah, hungry's a thought. Cause I've been hungry as shit and I just ate. But I'm like, you're not even hungry. You're not starving. To the point, one time I told myself a long time ago at work, I used to not eat at all. Just to remind myself how hungry I used to be. You know what I mean? Like, you making this much money now, but you spending like $30 on food when you could barely spend $5.
yeah.
Tone it down a little bit. You can't actually starve, you know?
Yeah.
You actually starve and sick.
I see what you mean, yeah. I had a similar realization, like, you know what? This will be good. Because sometimes we're eating when we're not hungry at all. And it's like...
Got nothing to do, huh?
yeah. There was...
I'm bored, right?
yeah, or you're trying to... I took a program, it's called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and they were talking about how, like, when kids open up the fridge, they're not really, like, opening up the fridge to get food. I mean, if you are, then you are, right? But like sometimes it's like you're just trying to feed like that deeper part of like your soul. Like maybe you just want to hug and like no parent is home, or maybe you're trying to, you know, like whatever that.
I used to try to catch the man cutting the light off.
Huh?
I used to try to catch the man that's cutting the light off in the fridge. You know, a younger child.
Oh, like oh wait, hold up, how?
How the
What
fuck
is
is
it?
this light cutting off?
Yeah. It's
So I
like it
found it's a button.
knows.
Oh, it's a button. This motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we close it.
How does it stay cold? Yeah.
Sound like we high now.
Don't it?
We had a lot of time. It's like,
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you have any other endeavors that you're into? I know you had mentioned the edibles, perhaps maybe like fashion, anything that you else you got going on.
yeah, definitely sound. I would say like my purpose is to integrate creativity and medicine. So I think seeing how we can be a little bit more creative with medicine. So let's see how that works out with sound and if that, I don't know, I'm just so curious of like how words are so powerful to myself and like how that travels when it's rhythm and why we memorize songs so easily. So I'm curious like how that will play out like with medicine. Right now I'm interested in biogeometry. I still don't really know what that means. But I'm curious of all these different YouTube pages that I'm exploring and how it will unfold. I definitely think it will still be.
Open that rabbit hole up. That's it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I had heart surgery when I was younger, and I've had other surgeries, and I was definitely in that mindset of like, I'm sick and no one can find the answers, and why am I always showing up, and you're just taking me down this loop of no answers. So I think that doesn't have to be a reality for people. I don't have all the answers, but I just feel like there's just so much information available that we could put something together, and that there's other perspectives that maybe we prefer to be in. So I'll just share that as I go through my journey. But I'm excited. I'll still do music, experiences.
I say if like medicine, people get to turn, you know, medicine kind of a little bit, you know, construe it a little bit to me, because my thing of medicine is something that's going to fix you, something that's going to heal you. Not keep you, all right, this is this. They help you for this small, something that's going to heal you. Medicine is something that, hey, you go, you prescribe it, take care of that, take care of that, take care of that. But once you get past needing the medicine, you already done self-healed yourself.
Yeah.
So I try not to take like prescribed medication, because usually it just makes you go to sleep. I don't care what drug you get.
Yeah.
It's help. You know what you can't feel when you sleep? Pain. You're fucking
sleep it off.
Kind of like a Band-Aid.
There it is. Here you go. Until you get hooked on it, you're like, now I just needed to cope
Yeah,
or feel.
I get the Band-Aid. The Band-Aid just covers it up until it heals.
Yeah.
It stops might stop stuff from getting into it also, but.
I think it's very interesting because like we're not really asked, or at least my experience has been in conventional medical spaces and seeing my grandmother's experience and other people's experience, how we're not really asked other questions like, do you have friends? And not like from a, oh my gosh, do you have friends or not friends, but just like, do you have community? Do you have someone outside of yourself, you know what I mean, that you can have a conversation with, that you feel safe with? Because that could be playing into your illness. Like I think of my grandmother, like she does better when she's in a space with other people than when she's in like these nursing homes where she's not really conversing with anyone.
Not just a number.
Yeah, you're not just a number, you know? And so how much community plays a part in like your overall health. Also, what thoughts are you ruminating on? Like what's the records that are being played? You know what I mean? Like are you judging yourself off of an experience that happened like 5 years ago? I've done that. I'm like, damn, I'm wasting my energy on it. I need to forgive myself and let it go. And all that can be playing into different ways that your body lets you know. There was someone that said that your body is a physical vessel of your expression of consciousness. So it will give you a feedback of where everything is at. So I think we could have more conversations like that in medicine. Because then that makes us learn more about ourselves and be like, oh, actually, I think I do have the answers within. You just had to let me know that. And I could do it.
I learned that a long time ago. Grandma said, take this tea, lemon, and ginger. Oh, it's not medicine. Take it out. You gonna sweat it out. Sweat my life away. I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, no pills or nothing. Just, oh shit, this was disgusting. But I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
So I think, instead of the drugs, we gotta get back to the natural, what it is, because everything was already put here for us, technically, you know.
Depending on what it is. Like, if you have your leg blown off, then, you know, maybe tea and asking you if you have community is going to be so helpful. Maybe I do.
It won't, because my leg is gone. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Somebody, they can't say just walk it off.
Here's some tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think it's like knowing that there can be an existence of both. It's just kind of like, because also it's like sometimes it's like, well, do they even like their life? Like I think of jobs and I'm like, what if you have more play at your job? Like what if you went to your job and you had like more play, like they let you do like skateboarding or like martial arts, and they were like, you have to do this.
I'm gonna chop up
you probably would enjoy work a little more if you can do things that you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, because work.
Not 30 minutes to go eat.
Work is difficult sometimes. You know, people coming to you in customer service, they say, hey, how you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
I can't honestly answer that question sometimes.
I fucking don't want to be here. I don't even want to take your order.
I feel like shit.
Yeah.
But that's not something to say to you. You know, I had somebody say, I'm okay, I'm good. He said, you don't sound like, I don't believe you. I said, well, you know, that's my job to tell you that. There's nothing you can do to save me. So,
Yeah.
what can I do for you?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, perhaps, I don't really feel like that's really something that they're concerned about with the job. Just
I'm concerned with my bottom line. Don't
just
make my
us the
company
money.
Yeah, don't make my company
Just make us the money and get out of here.
I think for sure. I was talking to someone, I think a few days ago, we were talking, she wants to start, I think it's called a Kinder Cafe, which is a coffee shop for parents, so you can like bring your kids and it's like made for kids.
My kids have
I know one of those, I forgot what it's on, I forgot. I know it's in
When you know,
New
send it
York.
to me so I can send it to her. Cause she's super into like all.
Cause I actually interviewed for that before.
Oh, for there, okay.
Yeah, I actually got the job, but the pay wasn't whatever. But yeah, they have like a bar. They have the coffee machines, espresso machines, but then they got like a whole play area for the kids.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
Oh.
Like there's a whole little thing for the kids and whatnot inside.
Whoa.
Kids take care of themselves when they around other kids. I tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
They don't need
like,
parents.
like they have
Oh
like,
no.
yeah,
I observed them and I'm like, oh, actually, you're pretty functioning.
Yeah, pretty independent without me here, huh? You don't need unless you're in trouble, in danger, or hungry. Yeah.
Even when you're hungry. Oh, I used to babysit these kids. They were like 7, 8. They would just cook themselves. They literally, it was so fascinating to be in their presence. And for lunch, they would take their cookbook and they would go and make, they were like, I think I want to make some bread. And they would, I've never made bread. And so to watch them observe to make bread.
They got me beat.
Right?
I was like, not even that. I felt like I was learning about what the possibilities of life are through them. And I'm just like, whoa. And that's when I started to think like, oh, it's the person that limits what the possibilities are of the other person. Because their parents trust them. Like, it's not like, I mean, obviously, like, the youngest one was like 4, like, she's not going to be making and baking. But the older ones that know how to read, that can, like, function, like, they were just making their own meals, listening to their own body, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, sometimes you learn a lot through kids, especially having them.
You learn there's no fear rooted, no fear.
You know, you never know, cause like we were kids, but we don't actually know when we learned everything.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, because it's always been happening.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You know,
yeah.
But to see like your kid learning things at a certain age, you're like, hey, you're pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, he's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Like my son knows a whole bunch of dinosaurs. I know.
Maybe he's interested in dinosaurs.
Oh, he's definitely interested in dinosaurs.
Definitely, archaeologists still fossils around.
But I was like, Jesus, But I don't know. He can tell me what something is, and I can't question him. I'm saying a cankliosaurus or some shit like that. I don't know. He knows them all. But I was just thinking, like, you know, when I was 3, I might have knew a lot about something else similar though. But you don't really. You know, it's amazing watching kids grow up.
Oh, 100%. I live with my sister, and she has 4 kids. And when I observe them, I'm like, damn, they teach me so much about life.
So you wanna tell the people about anything you got coming out, or anything that you just released that you want them to check out?
No.
No.
But I would think that maybe Feel Good Fire on all socials. I think if you're interested in connecting around sound, wellness, biogeometry, cinematics, you can email me at soundsoulpaint@gmail.com. And yeah, I'd be curious to connect and learn. I do have music as well. Maybe by the time that this person comes across, all 100 will be released. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm actually really curious. Can I tell you guys how I met you guys? Because I know you guys know, but let me break down the backstory. I went to go buy a flower, right, in DC, well, a donation. And I was leaving the shop, and I saw that they had turntables. And I tell the security guard, that is so cool that they have turntables here, right? And I'm like, I love music. And he's like, go down the street. He gives me directions. On the right hand side, you're gonna see this shop. Go in there, and like, they do music stuff. I felt so pumped and inspired. I was like, hell yeah, let me go and see where this adventure takes me. So I go down there. I go inside the flower shop. This is another dispensary. They're kind of confused because they're like, they think like I'm a customer, so they like take me to the back, and I'm like, oh no, I like tell them what just happened, and they're like, oh okay, like we do music too, and then we did like a freestyle, and they were like, oh, we like your vibes, why don't you come to Porch Fest, right? So then that led me to being at Porch Fest, which then I met you guys, so it's cool how life works out.
Yeah.
All by just talking to someone randomly. Or not random, you know? I'm just like, that's a cool turntable. So.
Sounds like it was meant to happen.
Yeah, now we're here. You know?
We appreciate you.
For sure.
Experiencing unpleasant thoughts.
Tell me to find you before you wrap it up.
I Feel Good Fire. On YouTube, A Santis. So that's ASANTIS.
Alright, it's your boy Sly Guy No Lie.
Shampoo, aka Big Shampoo.
And big blessings coming out. Appreciate you.
Yay, thank you.
And button don't.
Yes, sir.